no more of Mr. J. Evans Pritchard. Now, my class, you will learn to think for yourselves again. You will learn to savor words and language. No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
Greetings and welcome to the Hawkeye Rising YouTube channel. I'm Clint, your host, your Hawkeye. Okay, so today this will be quick. Obviously, you notice we're trying a little different format, experimenting with the camera, and we'll see how it goes. Go from there. I will be posting notes down below in the description, where I'll be getting my citations from. Frederick Tupper Saussy, Rulers of Evil, Useful Knowledge About Governing Bodies, published 1999. An interesting connection recently, and definitely a happy birthday shout out. I don't know if you'll see this, but this is definitely part of what's inspired this Frederick Tupper Saussy series, which I appreciate, on top of the other sparks of inspiration. But you're definitely one of them, and of course, if you're seeing this, you know who you are. So happy birthday to you. Okay, Dead Poets Society. Dead Poets Society is a 1989 American teen comedy drama film written by Tom Schulman, directed by Peter Weir, and starring Robin Williams. Set in 1959 at the fictional elite conservative Vermont boarding school Welton Academy, it tells the story of an English teacher who inspires his students through his teaching of poetry. Okay, this is from the user-edited Wikipedia page. We'll jump to the plot. So in the autumn of 1959, shy Todd Anderson begins his junior year of high school at Welton Academy, an all-male elite prep school in Vermont. He is assigned one of Welton's most promising students, Neil Perry, as his roommate, and meets Neil's friend, and a bunch of character names are listed. Okay, on the first day of classes, they are surprised by the unorthodox teaching methods of the new English teacher, John Keating. A Welton alumnus himself, Keating encourages his students to make your lives extraordinary, a sentiment he summarizes with the Latin expression carpe diem, meaning seize the day.
We're not laying pipe. We're talking about poetry. I mean, how can you describe poetry like American Bandstand? Well, I like Byron. I give him a 42, but I can't dance to it. Now, I want you to rip out that page. Go on. Rip out the entire page. You heard me. Rip it out. Rip it out! Go on. Rip it out! Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Gentlemen, tell you what, not just tear out that page, tear out the entire introduction. I want it gone. History. To leave nothing of it. Rip it out!
Okay, Dead Poets Society. So we got the writer Tom H. Schulman. Okay. Why is this important? So I'm not focusing on the director Peter Weir, but the writer. The writer is born October 20th, 1951. So Thomas H. Schulman is an American screenwriter, best known for his semi-autobiographical screenplay, Dead Poets Society.
And the Oscar goes to Tom Schulman for Dead Poets Society.
Based on his time at the illustrious Montgomery Bell Academy, a college preparatory day school located in Nashville, Tennessee. Interesting. Okay, Montgomery. Okay, now we're visiting the Montgomery Bell Academy wiki, user-edited wiki page. MBA, or Montgomery Bell Academy, was established in 1867. Interesting year. For those of us Canadians, in the aftermath of the American Civil War, it is the successor to the two well-known schools, the Western Military Institute, which Sam Davis, the boy hero of the Confederacy, attended, and the former University of Nashville. The school's board operates under the corporate title, Board of Trustees of the University of Nashville, although the university was disbanded in 1909. We don't need... Okay, jumping down on the wiki page, Dead Poets Society, the 1989 motion picture that featured Robin Williams depicted a school patterned after Montgomery Bell Academy, although the events in the movie were fictional. Thomas Schulman, who graduated from Montgomery Bell Academy in 1968, wrote the movie's screenplay. Robin Williams portrayed a character based on Sam Pickering, one of Schulman's teachers during his time at the Montgomery Bell Academy. Let's see. So it is a Montgomery Bell Academy is a private all-male college prep school with a motto fortitudo per scientiam. Let's see. Now where this interesting intersection, we look up Samuel Pickering, and we got a Samuel F. Pickering, born September 30th, 1941. Is a writer and professor emeritus of English at the University of Connecticut in Storrs. His unconventional teaching style was an inspiration of the character of Mr. Keating, played by Robin Williams in the film Dead Poets Society. So we gotta wonder, go back to the name, Samuel or Sam F. Pickering Jr. What could F mean? We go to encyclopedia.com. Samuel F. Pickering Jr., Samuel Francis Pickering Jr. Francis, and if you're new here or new to the Cerrucci Team Brief or Johnny's work, you'll know that Francis is consistently an allusion to the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit Order's co-founder Francis Xavier.
Don't make me ask twice.
Where is Francis? You made me ask twice.
Is the mask muffling my voice?
Okay, let's moving on. Now, why am I bringing up also Frederick Tupper Saussy and Rulers of Evil? Rents.com, the passing of Tupper Saussy. My previous video was about his March 16th, 2007 death date anniversary. March 16th being also the death date anniversary of a significant Jesuit, John de Brebeuf. You can see my previous video about that. His death, March 16th, 1649. Moving on to the Rents.com page, discussing the passing of Tupper Saussy. Tupper Saussy started his life by displaying the contempt for authority that would mark both his life and his art for 7 decades to come. I forgot to mention he was 70 years old at his time of death. Let him tell the story. My aunt, who was there, told how I was born. My grandfather delivered me from his daughter at home. He was an MD. When he hoisted me high to examine... Okay, so this will be about his birth. Let him tell the story. So when he hoisted me high to examine my parts, I peed in his face. Saussy, who died suddenly on Friday at the age of 70, is likely to be remembered as one of the great personalities in Nashville history. A man described over and over by friends and observers with the cliche, larger than life. Okay? He filled many different roles over the years, but he played each one with panache, wit, and fierce originality. As a teacher at Montgomery Bell Academy, fresh out of the University of the South in 1958, Saussy so dazzled his young charges that he was later suspected, erroneously according to the screenwriter, Tom Schulman, of being part of the inspiration for the manic teacher in the film Dead Poets Society. He had a quality about him, his son Hans Saussy remembers, that made us not only smarter but more aware. Let's see. Another site, Mockingbird or mbird.com. Of course, or remember, links will be in the description. There's this statement about Saussy and a reference to rulers of evil, useful knowledge about governing bodies. It makes note that Frederick Tupper Saussy, musician, when you listen to Saussy's early piano jazz, which he recorded when he was in college, you'll hear a rare blend of sophistication and soul. Then when you get to 1969 and the Neon Philharmonic, you'll wonder, where did this inspired artist come from? Later, Saussy turned into a kind of visionary, quote-unquote, nut, who refused to pay U.S. income tax on principle and ended up in prison after being a fugitive from federal agents for 10 years. He also embraced his Christian and Protestant heritage big time, writing a book that basically blamed all of Americans' problems on the Vatican. He even ghost-wrote, we are told, the autobiography of James Earl Ray. When Saussy was betrayed by fellow fugitive in 1997, he said that his Christian faith comforted him, and with a quote, a Christian is honored by betrayal. Jumping back, he's also embraced, writing a book that basically blamed all of all of America's problems on the Vatican. Well, is that true? I don't think this. Let's see who wrote this. Okay, I doubt the author of this article even read the book. Certainly not blaming. And if when you're coming from where I'm coming from, that Saussy was indeed selected to write and indeed publish this book. And remember, as I've stated before, that Frederick Tupper Saussy's Rulers of Evil must be read side by side in conjunction with Sun Tzu's 13 Articles, or known today as Art of War. Art of War was the treatise on how 18th Jesuit Superior General Lorenzo Ricci would secure America. Tupper Saussy's Rulers of Evil is how the general did secure America. Let's see, how are we doing for what I want to read. So from Tupper Saussy's Rulers of Evil, chapter 10. Well, let's see. This is a chapter on definitions. I won't go into the Jesuit definitions based on, well, there's a compare and contrast to the 1828 Webster Dictionary of what Jesuitism and so on compared to the definitions of today. But I will read, so from page 82, if we depend solely on the dictionary of definitions, we learn that Jesuits are churchmen and teachers of a doubtful moral rectitude who are likely to cheat, trick, plot, scheme, deceive, and confuse us while avoiding to commit themselves verbally. When we study the published moralists, we sense a rather vibrant presence of the trickster. But in the Society's defense, it must be said these are legitimate character traits for a militia empowered by a declaration of war. And we must remember that Pope Paul III's bull ordaining the Society of Jesus, Regimini Militantis Ecclesia, remember, September 27th, 1540, when the bull was issued, is just a declaration, is just such a declaration. Human life in a declared war becomes subject to the Human life in a declared war becomes subject to the first great rule of war. Belli legum dormi. In war, the law sleeps. When the law sleeps, the unarmed priests' only weapons are the intrigue, deceit, equivocation, casuistry, and mental reservation with which the Jesuits have made themselves so notorious and so often despised. In the forthcoming chapters, we shall be examining how the Society of Jesus made war against Great Britain and the British colonies during the second half of the 18th century, and then again and then against the sovereign American states a century later. In each instance, the warfare was of the highest sophistication. It was so subtly conceived and so masterfully executed that neither of the major combatants could discern the presence of the Jesuits in the equation. The amazing technology of Jesuit warfare, that is the subject of our next chapter. And a reminder, The Art of War, we have chapter 1, laying the plans, this point number 18. All war is based on deception. And I'll end that there. Thank you so much for being here. And happy birthday. You know who you are. If you see this, happy birthday. This is your Hawkeye.
Your own belief.
Bye for now.
In the face of others. Now, those of you, I see the look in your eyes like, I would have walked differently. Well, ask yourselves why you are clapping. And we all have a great need for acceptance. But you must trust that your beliefs are unique, your own, even though others may think them odd or unpopular, even though the herd may go, that's bad. Robert Frost said, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. I want you to find your own walk right now. Your own way of striding, pacing, any direction, anything you want. Whether it's proud, whether it's silly, anything. Gentlemen, the courtyard is yours.
Just to remind you not to get sucked into the next big thing. You'll know that 5 minutes ago, we were all supposed to be consumed by COVID. That's all there was on every news channel. Talks of masking, talks of the next variant, deaths, how this was going to impact the economy. And now it's all about Russia and the Ukraine. Look how quickly that news cycle moved on. Look how much the State of the Union address was all about Ukraine. And look how the very people who locked us down, put people behind masks, crucified small businesses, and the same people who loved being compliant, loved wearing the face mask, still want to wear it now, and now talking about freedom, as if they somehow are championing freedom. They're the ones saying, we stand with the Ukrainian people, freedom for the Ukrainian people, when they were scooching along the street in a face mask and 14 visors not 2 minutes ago. Look how quickly the news cycle changed. Look how quickly people forget all the things they were trying to make you feel frightened about 5 minutes ago and what they're now talking about. And essentially question everything. But most importantly of all, remember what you think. Know who you are, know what you think, know what you believe in, and don't be swayed by the latest shiny, sparkly thing the media are trying to distract you with right now.